So here we have a plastic ornament, and you can make it out of glass also. And let's make a beautiful personalized. So I'm using chalk paint, and you're going to want to put more than one layer. I used 3 because you really want full coverage. So today I'm going to be using paper napkins, and I'm going to do a rather vintage look. And you can use a sponge brush, a makeup sponge, and if you're going to use a paintbrush, I suggest you use it very soft bristles, but I find that paintbrushes leave a lot of streak marks, and you really need that full coverage. So I've applied 3 coats of my chalk paint, and here my napkin is a little bit beigey, so I'm going to be using an acrylic, and very lightly I want to match the back of that napkin. So I'm going to come in with a beige, and then I'm going to come in again with white again. And you always want to really use white as your background color because your tissue napkin is so thin that you really want that design to pop. Okay, so I'm cutting around the image that I'm going to be using, and I've always said that decoupage is kind of like a puzzle, but it's easier, I think. Anyway, you're not going to get all of your image into that ornament. So you're going to want to cut around certain images, and I suggest that you cut out several images at a time because instead of placing one and then coming back and cutting, just get them all in a line, just like an assembly line. And once you've placed your central image, it makes it much easier to decide where you would like to place the others. Obviously, you can always come back to your napkin and cut some more. So as you can see, I'm removing the top part of that tree, but I'll come back and I am going to piece it together. So I'm just going to place my image inside of my ornament and see where I would like to place it. And I'm finding that it's a pretty good size. It seems to fit very well. So I'm going to go with that. And it's important that you test out your image first before going straight to the glue. I really like to use Elmer's glue, white glue, with a little bit of water. And of course, if you're more comfortable with Mod Podge, that's great. Whatever is you're comfortable with. I just feel that with the glue and the water, I have a great working time. And you really want to mix it very well. Okay, so when you're working on a curved surface, you really want to go in with your scissors and just little snips here and there. And that really facilitates when you're applying your napkin. And you'll have less wrinkles and it will fall beautifully. It's really important that you remove those layers. Some napkins have 1 layer, some have 2. And sometimes you think you removed both layers. And guess what? You haven't. It's happened to me. And so what you're left with is just that white napkin adhering to wherever you want to put it. And it's extremely frustrating. So just make sure that you removed all the layers. Just with the piece of tape on the corner and peeling it back. So you're going to find when decoupaging that your best friend is saran wrap or cling wrap. It is a must because if you're pressing or trying to get the image down just with your brush or your fingers, if you do it with your fingers, it's going to pull the paper up and it's terrible. So when you're using the saran wrap, glue does not adhere to saran wrap. So you're really able to go in and to remove those wrinkles and to smooth out your paper beautifully. So remember the treetop that I cut off? Well, now I'm going to place it where it belongs. I'm going to align it with the house, and it looks perfect as if it were there all along. So I've applied more trees, and I know at the angle you're looking at it, it looks like they're not facing the right way, but trust me, we're working on a curve and it's all going to look great when we finish. So I'm going to need more images and I'm going to cut out some more trees. Maybe I use them, maybe not, but I'll see. Now, the snow you see in the image inside of the ornament is the napkin. So you keep cutting the snow because you never know how much you're going to need. So you just keep applying it. Cut and paste. That's what it's all about. When you're placing other images in front of your main image, what's happening is you're tricking the eye and it makes it look really dimensional. And this is what you want. And by the time we finish this ornament, it's really going to look amazing. The dimensions, it's just going to look like the car is really way in the back and the trees are in the front and the snow. You'll see. Let's continue. So let's make some snow. Grab yourself some styrofoam, and you know what? You might even have it at home already because a lot of things are shipped in styrofoam. And you're going to want a cheese grater. And I like making my own snow because it's very fun. Now, I know that it's very nerve-wracking, the noise that it makes to make your own snow. But you know what? It's worth it because it's very fine and it really looks beautiful inside the ornament. Now, I like texture, so I'm going to be using two types of snow. Now, you can use cotton or you can use the snow that you buy at your craft store that looks like cotton. I apologize for the glare, but it's a reflection of the light. So I've decided here that I need more snow. So here I go again with my cheese grater. I know the noise is like running your nails on a chalkboard, but it's really beautiful snow. And if you can find a fine snow like this, please let me know where you found it. I'd really like to know. Maybe I would try Epsom salt. I've never tried that. That might work instead of having to use a cheese grater. So now I'm going to be applying a little deer, a faux, and you want to make sure you have plenty of glue. Look how amazing that looks. I mean, the deer really feels like it's walking out of your ornament. If you didn't want a deer, you could put a snowman. I mean, there's just so many things you could do, just let your imagination fly. And obviously this is vintage looking, and that was the look I was going for. But I mean, it's endless. The sky's the limit with the napkins and what you can do, what you can create. It's wonderful. Remember when I told you that I like to use different textures? Now I'm going to be using a snow that I bought at the craft store, but it's the same as if you were using cotton. So when I'm applying my cotton, I obviously want to put it on top. And I want to see if the cotton is in the right place. Look how amazing that looks. I mean, it looks like so dimensional and so wonderful. So I saw that the cotton was too much to one side, so I'm going to try to even it out. And just go back and forth until you're happy where your snow is. And just take your time. I know it can become frustrating. And I'm only saying frustrating because you're like, okay, how many times do I have to add and take away and add some more of my cotton? But you really do, because once you seal this, you're not going to open it again. So make sure that that's where you want your cotton. Okay, so that took a while. So now I'm going to apply with my glue, because I need that glue to adhere my cotton. And you're not going to water down this glue. You're going to take it straight from the bottle and apply it to your ornament. Okay, so I removed it again. I'm spreading my glue and I'm just spreading my cotton, and it's really great to try it before we do the final step of sealing everything. So I'm just adding glue and I'm stretching my cotton. It's so amazing when you're looking at your ornament, how you feel like you can actually walk into it. It's really lovely. I mean, I love doing these ornaments. So I'm going to add just a little bit more of my snow, and I just love the way it looks like it's a flurry. Now it's time to do the exterior. So I'm using burlap with the stitch. You can use yarn, you can use ribbon, you can use even just a plain hook, which I think will not do all of that work justice. But anyway, I'm just tying a knot on the top. And I like the burlap because it's giving me that farm look. So I'm going to use my burlap and I'm going to go all the way around my ornament. Now we're going to be using a hot glue gun and you really need to be careful. I cannot tell you how many times I have burned myself. Also, when you're applying your ribbon or your burlap or whatever it is you want to put around your ornament, it's really going to secure it and you're not going to open it again. So I'm applying a tree branch right now, and I'm only doing it now because I have so much hot glue right there. So I figured I might as well stick that in there while there's an excess of glue. So I'm just making a small bow, and first because it looks beautiful, and second because it hides any imperfections or any glue that might be there and doesn't look nice. But I just love the look of the bow. I think it gives it a really beautiful touch. You also want to add your branches on the back of your ornament because you're going to see it on both sides and you want every side to look beautiful. Now I'm just doing the final touches and I felt that I needed some red. So I'm going to be adding some little berries, some little red berries. I hope I've inspired you to do beautiful things. I know if you're watching this, you love crafting just as much as I do. Happy holidays, and I'll see you soon.